Hello everyone, welcome back to Catapult Make. Today I want to design a custom allotment number sign. The idea is to create a decorative plaque with the number 20B and then add some ivy, some leaves and maybe a few little garden tools to give it that garden feel. We'll go through the full process together inside Fusion 360 and Inkscape, from sketching to layout and building the details, all the way to slicing, 3D printing, painting and finishing the final piece. I also want this one to feel less technical, so I'll show you my thought process when I experiment with shapes and decoration ideas, and I want to make this sign feel warm and personal. So grab a cup of coffee, open Fusion 360 and let's start designing. So here we are in Fusion 360 and I'm gonna start this project with a new sketch. And I'm gonna make my sketch onto this top view plane. And I'm gonna start with a center rectangle from the middle. And I'm gonna make this rectangle 200 millimeters by 150. So this is going to be quite a large allotment sign, but I think it'll work really nice with all the design elements I want to put in. I want to make this a bit more interesting, so I'm going to take a circle and go from every corner, and I'm going to do about 30 millimeter circle on each corner. Now I can just take the trim tool and I'm gonna click and hold the mouse button, and when it changes to that little square I can just go over every single one of these lines that I don't want to keep and delete everything. So now that we have this, we can just double click one of these lines and I want to offset it by just about that much and press enter. And I'm going to do the same again, and I'm going to offset it by a bit more so I can create this border, and this border is going to be just one of the design elements I'm going to use. So I'm going to say okay to that, and let's get the number in before we do anything else. So I'm going to just roughly center the space for my number, and I'm going to type in 20B, and I want to make it about 60 mil, maybe 40 mil. Let's go with 50. So I'm going to go with 50 mil height for the letters, and I'm going to center everything like that. Let's say okay to this, and let's finish this sketch. So first of all, I'm just going to select my numbers, and I'm going to extrude everything by 4 millimeters. Now I want to go back and make my sketch visible, and I want to extrude this as well by 4 millimeters. And I want to extrude all of this by minus 4 millimeters. 5. Okay. So minus 5 millimeter extrusion on the plate itself. Okay, now let's hide the sketch so we see better what we have. So we have a nice VG number with 20B, and I would like to take all of these edges of this plate and give them a bit of a chamfer. So let's go to chamfer and say let's do chamfer of 3 millimeters. Okay, and that already makes it look much better. Okay, so we have this so far. Let's start adding some design elements, and for that I'm gonna go to a website called FreeSVG. Here I'm just gonna type some gardening, and I want to see what I get when I research for gardening. So I want to get a few a few things that I can extrude. So I'm looking for some simple shapes for garden, and I'm looking for some black and white like this one. So I could use this watering can. So I'm just gonna download this SVG. Let's go back to our sketch, and I'm gonna insert that SVG I've just downloaded, and I'm gonna move it outside and make it smaller, just about there. And I'm gonna leave it outside so I can extrude it outside, and say okay to that. Finish the sketch, and let's extrude this. So I'm gonna extrude this first by 4mm, and I want to create a little design element here. So I'm gonna fillet this by a little bit, okay, and I'm gonna extrude this by 4mm again, and I'm gonna do the same thing with this. I'm gonna fillet it by a little bit, so it gives you that little design element there. Okay, so now I can just simply take this one and move it to this plate when I need it. So let's go back to FreeSVG, and let's find some more design elements. So I'm gonna go back to gardening, and let's see what else we can get. So this is actually pretty cool, and you've got loads of things here, and I'm gonna actually download this SVG as well, and I'm gonna be looking for some more SVGs while I'm here. And I think that would be enough. So let's go to Fusion 360 and let's import some more SVGs. So I'm gonna go back to Insert, SVG. Okay, so now that we have everything imported, let's start making some extrusions. So I want to take this and extrude this by 4mm. I'm gonna take the radishes and the leaves and extrude this by 4mm. And I want to take all of these as well. So it takes a while to select everything, but it's probably worth it at the end, because it saves me from designing a whole new ivy or tracing some ivy that I can find somewhere. So let's extrude this by 4mm as well. Okay, and let's extrude some gardening tools, and I'm gonna be extruding these two by 4mm. And what else? The gloves maybe by 4mm, and the spray bottle by 4mm. And I think I might have all the elements I need for this project. So let's start with the big ivy. So let's find the bodies. So body 11 and body 12 are the ivy, and they don't seem to be connected, and I want to connect them right here. So I'm gonna go back to the sketch and see if I can do that. So let's hide these two, and let's take this, and if we go back to the sketch, I can take this line and I can just offset it by a little bit that way. Finish the sketch, and then if I make both of these bodies visible again, I can just take all of these, want to extrude everything by 4 millimeters, and just say join, and that's gonna connect those two bodies and make it into one, and that means body 11 now is only one full body. Okay, so let's take body number 11, and I want to move it on top of this plate of mine, and I'm gonna put it in the middle, and I want to scale it up first. So I'm gonna take this and scale it by a factor of 2.8. Okay, now I want to move it back to kind of center, and I'm probably going to scale it up again. I'm just gonna scale it again, and scale type I'm gonna change from uniform to non-uniform, and I want to scale it up on this axis, and I'm just gonna drag these axes down until I get it to a size that actually fits my plate. So let's say okay to that, and let's move these guys a bit up, and I think that should be perfect. Okay, and are these the same height? I think they are, which is fine. Now I saw that because I've scaled it up, it scaled up the height as well, so I'm just gonna leave it here at the moment, and when it comes to that I'm just gonna cut it down. And I also want to extrude this up to this plate, so the bottom of the plate is gonna be flat, and there we go. Pretty happy with that. Let's grab the watering can, and I'm just gonna move it into a random place somewhere there. Okay, let's grab the radishes, and I'm gonna move them somewhere like that. Okay, let's grab the tools. I'm gonna move these there. Okay, let's grab the carrot. I'll move the carrot here, maybe turn it around, put it there. Okay, let's grab the watering can again. Which are these two bodies, and I'm gonna move them somewhere there. Make space for the carrot. Okay, let's do the water bottle spray thing. There, that'll be fine. And let's take the gloves and move them as well. So that looks to me like a pretty decent sign. And I think I'm gonna be taking everything besides the top bit, the main body. I'm gonna take all of these elements and I just want to move them down by just a little bit. So I'm gonna move them down visually just about there. Okay, and what else can we do? I think this is gonna be pretty good. Now, one more thing I want to add straight off the bat, and that's gonna be mounting holes. And I'm gonna make the mounting holes up here, one here, one there. Or maybe I'm gonna make it one here, one there. Let's do one here, one on the other side. So for that, I'm just gonna go to my initial sketch. And I want to make a small hole just here, about 4 mil. And I'm gonna take a center line. I'm gonna create a center line just there. And I'm gonna take this hole and mirror it according to this line. Okay. So now when I go back to my sketch, I can just select this hole and this hole, and I can just extrude everything to cut into my plate. So I'm gonna go symmetric and I'm gonna go both sides. Okay, and that's my holes cut for screws. And I can just chamfer these ones, both of them by a little bit to countersink my screws. So I'm going to chamfer them by 2 millimeters, and that's going to be a perfect space for my countersink screws. Now all of these I'm going to 3D print in PLA, and once everything is printed I can just spray paint everything with primer, maybe put a base color on it, and then I want to hand paint every single one of these elements. So let's send this to the slicer and 3D print it, see how it comes out. If everything is fine, then we'll take it to spray paint it and we'll hand paint all the elements. And I'm also going to save this project, so in case any of you guys want to get the same design, then I can just simply go and change the number. So I can just go back to my initial sketch and I can just edit this number into, let's say, 15, allotment number 15. And when I press OK onto this and finish the sketch, then you'll see that everything else stays the same, just the number changes. So like I said before, if you guys want to 3D print this exact design but you want to change the number, just drop a message into the comment section below and I'll just change the number onto this design and send it to you, or post it on my Patreon page, and then you can download it from there. So let's drag my 20B into Bambu Studio and see what kind of settings we'll use to 3D print all of this. So here is my Bambu Studio, and let's drag and drop this sign onto the build plate, and we're gonna leave it in the center. And let's go for a big layer height because I don't really mind the quality of it. I want to print it quite fast actually, and I'm gonna go with 0.24, and let's go to Bambu Lab A1. I think the wall loops 4, it's a bit too much, so I'm gonna do 2 wall loops. I'm gonna change straight away from At quality, I'm gonna change straight away from wall generator classic to Arachne, and that Arachne is gonna give me a better print on very small edges. So there's gonna be a better print when it comes to these sharp corners because of the variable line width. And what else do I need to change? I'm gonna change the infill, so I'm gonna go back to strength, and I'm gonna change the infill pattern to gyroid, and maybe less infill, so I'm gonna go for 8%. But I do want to have top shell layers. I want to go for 5 of them. That's gonna give me a better strength on the top. And what else? Monotonic line for all of them. And I think that's pretty much all the settings I need for this. So let's slice this and see how long it's going to take to print. Okay, so I forgot to cut that off. So I'm just going to go back to Fusion 360 and solve this problem now. And here is simply a matter of designing something onto this area. And I'm going to take a rectangle about this big, finish this sketch, and I want to extrude all of this all the way to the other side. So it cuts everything on the bottom, and that makes it a flat surface. Okay, so let's select everything and combine them again. There we go. So now it has a flat bottom, and I can just really print this as it is. First, I want to go and change the number back to 20B. There we go. So now we're back to a flat base with the number 20B, and I can just send this to 3D print. And in Bambu Studio, I'm going to go back to prepare, delete this, and just drag and drop the new one. So that should be fine. All the settings are the same. And let's just slice this again. And I'm just going to change the color of the PLA so you guys can see everything better. So I'm just going to do that, say okay to that, and slice the plate again. And let's have a look at what it does. So strategies are fine, the tools are fine, everything else is okay, carrot is fine. I think that should be all perfect. So that's ready to send to print, and I'm gonna print it on my Bambu Lab A1. Once it's ready, we'll take it out and spray a coat of primer on it, and when the primer dries out, we'll hand paint everything. So let's print this plate. This is it, guys. This is the allotment sign ready printed. And unfortunately, because I'm working on quite a few projects at the same time, I did not have time to finish painting this. I did start, but I was very tired and I didn't want to mess it up. So if you like this video, next week I'm probably gonna put up the video of how I paint everything by hand and install it at the allotment. So again, if you guys like this kind of video, like, share and subscribe, and stick around for next time when the sign is going to be all painted and installed. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.